What's up, everybody? So I've had a lot of comments that people like my buttons and how I do them, so I figured I'd share. Alright, now to get started, we're going to go to this tool, little shape tool over here. It's the rounded rectangle. Now I use the rounded rectangle because it's totally customizable, meanwhile the rectangle is not. So you can use the actual rounded as any kind of shape you want, pretty much, and I'll get to that. So let's get started. So for this, we're going to start with the fill is black, no stroke, and the radius, we're going to leave it pure square. So here's our little button we're going to make right here. Okay, let's just center that. Control T, wherever the center is. There we go. Now, we want rounded corners, but it's square. So the radius, you put that there in the beginning, it will be whatever you can adjust the numbers left, higher or lower, according to what kind of how round you want the corners. So for this one, you go to properties. Now these are the four corners right here. So let's try 30, and it's gonna lock them all in at 30. You can go higher and it'll be more rounded. Let's go 50. There we go. Now, let's say you don't want rounded corners. Let's say you want them to connect. You want an angle. So for that, you go over to this tool, Convert Point tool, and you select this right here. Bam, bam. It chops it off. It connects it, so it's no longer rounded. So these points are converted, and now you have that shape. Okay, so let's call this base. So we're calling this base. Alright, I accidentally pressed the space bar, so it might have been chopped out a second, and I'm not restarting our editing. So anyway, so we have this shape here. Now, what we want, what I'm going to show you how to do this, is adding an anchor point. So adding an anchor point, like let's say we want an indent here and an indent here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create another layer. This is my method. So we're just going to make this a shape right here. Layers. Let's transform it. All right. So now we have our shape here. Now we want to go make sure this is clicked. Let's pick different colors. So the center is going to be red, and let's make the stroke blue. So there we go. Alright, now we're not going to use the shape. This is just a guide. So what we're going to do is we're going to Control T and expand this a little bit. Expand it there. Alright. Bam. Now we're going to go back to here. Click this little shape tool right here. And let's increase the stroke a little more. Well, not that much. There we go. So now we're just going to put this underneath here. Underneath. There we go. So now we have a centered object right here. So we'll add anchor point here and here and convert that as one point, and then we'll add an anchor point here and convert that as a point. Okay. So let's do that. Add anchor point. We're selecting on the base shape. We want to be on the base. So we're adding our outside anchor point there. See how it added the anchor right there and right there. But then we have these lines in between. We don't want those. So we're going to convert the point, holding shift, select that one, and then select that one. Alright, now that's the outside. So when we make the points inside, it will indent and keep the outside point. So what we're going to do is add two more anchor points. Bam and bam, and then we're going to convert that. All right, now these are both selected. So I'm just going to hold shift. I want to go down 5. 1, 2. Holding. When you hold shift and you use the move arrows, it goes by 5 pixels. So there you go. So you can make the button like that. If you don't like the way that looks, if you want it more of an angle, go to this direct selection tool right here. Select the point, and when using the arrows, you can move it by 1 pixel or 5 pixels by holding shift, or just use the arrow. So I'm going to move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want it more indented, so let's go another 5. There it is. Okay. So then we're going to go to this direct selection tool, select this point, and go over 10. 2. There we go. So there's that's done for the top. Now let's add anchor points for the bottom. Here we go. And there we go. We'll convert those points. Holding shift, then select them. And now we have that. We're going to add another set of anchor points. Oh, I screwed up. So just Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. We wanted to be on the outside. Woohoo! We could have done it either way, but when we add in the center anchor points, it will delete. When we add the outer after the inner, it would delete the inner. So there we go there. All right, convert points right here and there. So now we're going to go back and then add more. So we got this and that one. And now we're going to convert it again. And since we're already selected, 1, 2, 3, I think it was just, yeah. So we went 10 up, but then these aren't aligned, so we just go to the direct selection tool and go select that, and we went 5 over, or 10 over, there we go. Same thing with this one, 2, there we go. So there you have that. We actually don't need this anymore, so we're gonna just throw that away. Actually, we'll just delete it. So now we have our base. We are gonna copy that once. We're gonna call this stroke. All right. Now the stroke is gonna be on top, which is what we want. So we're gonna lower the fill to 0. Now we're going to go stylize it and stroke it. So I already had a preset done. So this is one gradient. You can use any kind of gradient you want. It doesn't have, it doesn't have to be shape burst. You can try all different kinds. Reflected, linear, all that good stuff. Diamond is really hard to see on strokes on thin lines like that. Increase the scale, we'll only do that. So I actually liked, no, where is reflected? There we go. So we're going to do reflected. That's pretty cool. All right, now we add a bevel and emboss. Look at all that depth now. So what I did was I used this gloss, and the gloss is actually hiding. Well, not really shown because this is black, so we'll just hit OK for now. Go up to here, new layer, convert to smart object. Let's add a little effect to the base. So we are going to filter, render clouds. So we have clouds now. It's right on top of that base. So what I want to do is create clipping mask. There we go. So now we actually have clouds inside the base, which is cool. Now what you can also do is you can gradient overlay. Not that. Select it. Gradient overlay. Ooh, that's too much. So if you want to add colors like a magenta, and we got to go to this overlay. You got red clouds going on in there, which is pretty cool. For this one, there's better reds down here. Here we go. Not that one. That's cool. So we have something like that going on in there. All right, now to add more effect to this, let's duplicate our stroke copy. Now, see how that's like that? We're going to get rid of the stroke. We're going to go to the bevel and emboss. All right, so this is still the gloss. Let's go here, but let's increase the size. All right, so now we have this, but it's kind of taking away everything. So we'll lower the opacities here and here. This is sort of how I made the Kyra crystal effect from my Star Wars. What I did instead of doing clouds, I did another filter called Pixelate Crystallize. Oh, I don't want to do that. But that's how I did that with the clouds. Instead of the clouds, I used Crystallize and I put it on top. So that's basically how I did that. So you have this, and if you want to add an inner glow, where is it? Right here. I don't know whether we want to use that. Let's try red, see what happens when we use an inner glow. Let's increase the opacity. Choke. And you have a little shading of red going around the edges inside. So, basic button with a little sidekick style to it. Sexy button going on here, people. Hope everybody liked. Pretty basic. Any questions? Let me know.